What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All Things Super. I am one of your hosts, Spider, and I'm joined once again by the one, the only Mr. VIP, Frankie Washington. How are you doing today, sir?
It is sexy in here.
Okay.
Like, I'm just letting the world know.
Is there
I
something
am
different that's going on? Was
no,
particularly sexy?
it's so sexy in here. I think it's because I'm in here.
Oh, okay.
Infinitely awesome, sir. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I am doing well. I'm doing well. I'm a bit tired, but keep the energy
Well,
flowing because I love doing this show. So it's
that's what
revitalizing
happens.
me. But so I'm ready
That,
to get
that
into it.
that's what happens when you bring that sexy over there. It gives you energy. It makes you
Is
revitalize
that what it
stuff.
is?
At least that's what I'm saying it is. Would I steer you wrong? I wouldn't steer you wrong.
uh,
Trust me, it's sexy. It's
okay.
all it is. It's like, hey, it's like putting it on toast. It's like, yeah, put a little more sexy on my toast. Don't worry
You
about
know
it.
what? I'm just going, just going,
It's a breakfast for champions. Don't worry about it.
let's just go move right past that.
Sexy in the morning.
But if you don't know what this is All Things Super, where every week we take a piece of superpowered movie, TV shows, even trailers. We watch them, we review them, we react to them, we break them down, and we ask the question, is it super?
Is it?
Is it?
It's sexy.
So
It's sexy is what it
we're going to
is.
change the name of the show to All Things Sexy instead of All Things Super?
Maybe
I
we
don't know.
swimming in sexy today.
I don't know. Still got the same initials, so we might
Hey,
make that change. But if you like that,
don't even have to change the logo.
don't even have to change the logo. We can keep rolling with it. But if you like that, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to follow us on social media, just click the link in the description below.
Shut up, Seven. Seven said Brandon is a nightmare. We just rebranded.
Listen, if you have the same initials, it's like Shield.
Right.
If you make up a good enough word, then
Enough.
just slap it on everything.
I mean, that's how logos work.
Tell something he's fired.
I could say so many things to him. I don't know if I could say that. I'm such a nice guy.
But in this episode, we are talking about the brand new show on Amazon Prime in the universe of The Boys.
Oh my goodness.
Gen V.
Gen V in the same vein as The Boys.
In the very same vein. Well, we got 3 episodes that came out. The show just came out. There's a total of 10 episodes, I believe. So we got the first 3 just dropped last Friday. So let's talk about it.
Let me say this. I think somebody from that Amazon team
8
watches
episodes,
our
I'm
show.
sorry.
I think they watch our show. And I know I shared this with you before. And if they do, I'm happy that they do.
Mm-hmm.
And if they never heard us before, we have the right energy, survive. Because Spider, you and I talked about this in so many levels, so many conversations we had about if you're not thinking about universes and franchises as an artist, and like, what are you doing? You have seen The Boys, and they didn't just give you 1 season, they gave you a hot 2 seasons just so you can get all up in The Boys storyline with great writing and superpowers and consequences and storylines. And I knew a musical was going to be in there somewhere, and we got a musical. And what they do, they did a spinoff. They gave us Diabolical. It's like, oh, it's in the same vein as The Boys, but animated. But in that same process, they introduced new characters and new characters throughout the whole thing.
Right.
Now they spent off again with the same great writing and same great everything in the vein of the boys
Mm-hmm.
in a familiar package. Because if it doesn't feel like Xavier School for the young, gifted youngsters, oh man, and it's very high schooly ish, collegey, you know.
Yeah.
God, you,
God, you.
Gen V. Okay, now we can get into the show. I just wanted to say that because clearly they understand. Look, we know you love this. Here's some in this version, and here's some in this version, and all of it slaps because it's all interconnected. The way they understand how to interconnect their universe. You didn't think you didn't know you was gonna see that A Train soda in here. You didn't know that. You didn't know you was gonna see the Maeve lasagna in here.
No.
Yeah, no clue.
Well, I mean, of course they're gonna, with it being in the same universe, they're gonna drop all of these like little nods to the larger universe of the boys, like, and they've been doing it, all throughout the seasons because we got the Red River Institute where Marie was after she, wasn't able to get adopted, and like the counselor told her, you like people don't get adopted from here. They go to the adult care facility, which is a lot worse than what we have here. We had Huey went to the Red River Institute when he was looking up information on Victoria Newman. So we get a lot of the woman that he was talking to that had
Spritwell kid was there.
Yeah. And the woman that he was talking to that had the broken leg, when Huey went, that was the same counselor that Marie was talking to. So I appreciate the fact that they're bringing the same actors back for these characters that we've seen previously.
Continuity.
Yeah, keeping the continuity tight, which is amazing because especially with actors that play cameo parts, you do one episode of a show and then you think right, you think that okay, well I'm done with this, I got to move on to the next thing. But to get a call back from the studio, say, hey, we're doing a spinoff show, the character that you portrayed is going to be back in it. Would you mind coming back in?
Yeah, we got you. Come on down.
Coming back and doing your role again.
What? A side character? Yes. It's what made the MCU what it was, because you saw Jasper Spitwell and like, wait, I know this face. He's the connective tissue. At the same time, the boys' universe understands this well. And it's these small little nuances that you and I talked about before that makes you stand out. This is the MCU if the MCU was done right. Oh, I said it. I said what I said.
Are you saying that the MCU wasn't done right?
I'm saying it was done the way they wanted it to be done, so it had to be done right by their eyes. But as far as an enjoyable, palatable content to consume, Amazon on theirs, man. I ain't even gonna tell nobody else but y'all. Y'all know it's just us in here talking.
Well, I mean, they're definitely comparable because, of course, it's a superhero genre. It's like we said, you're building a universe.
Sexy.
So you're keeping it in that same vein with that universe building, and especially with all of the marketing and the branding and everything. And so you would be a fool to not have, the A Train energy drink, the Queen Maeve lasagna, Lamplighter Hall, the Crimson Countess, all of this other kind of stuff. These heroes of the Seven who have the their buildings named after them in the university. What I would have liked to see, because they said that God U was established back in like 1956, so throw in some other supers that we don't know about, that we haven't maybe seen yet, not just the ones that we know that are more recent. And I know that the Crimson Countess was kind of back in, because when was Soldier Boy active? Was it World War II or was it like the Vietnam War?
I want to say I don't remember.
Okay, so because I know the Crimson Countess was fighting as part of God, what was the name of their superhero squad?
Strike Force?
No, it wasn't Strike Force. It was something with a pack or something. I don't remember.
Payback. It was
Yeah, it was
Payback.
Payback. Payback. That's what it was. So Payback,
Gotcha.
they were all fighting together. So Crimson Countess is an older superhero where Lamplighter was, part of the original
Yeah.
seven. So he's a little bit newer. So, having just that kind of mixture of not just names that we recognize, but, names of other supers that have been, throughout the universe over the years. But let's get
I would
into
say this though, Spider.
yeah, what's up?
Wait, I would say this though. Two things. Two things. One, I don't think they're ever going multiverse. And
No.
that's probably great that they don't in a world when everyone else is going multiverse. Just not go multiverse
Yeah, I don't think
makes
they
you
need to.
stand out even more. The second thing is the first thing was so good. I went to the second thing. Now I lost this first thing. But what I wanted to say was the oh, never mind. I'll remember later.
Okay.
I forgot. I'm being honest. I forgot.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. But all right, so let's talk about the characters that we got. Of course, we get introduced to Marie Moreau. Again, episode 1, the boys. We talked about season 3. Talked about episode 1 with Termite and the party and him shrinking inside the guy's penis and everything, just going straight up his urethra.
Yeah,
And
gross. I
the
mean, well,
immediacy of them, like basically season 3 of the boys started like, hey, if you don't know anything about the boys, is that we go there. We're not shy about nudity, we're not shy about blood, we're not shy about graphic violence. It's like we're jumping right into it. And we immediately get that here in Gen V. First episode, right out the gate, we get the parents watching the news broadcast. A-Train just got drafted to the 7, first black man. And what these shows do so well, and they did it in the boys when, Homelander outed Maeve as being a lesbian, and then like Vought was like, all right, well, let's spin it. Now we have the gay demographic. So now everything about Maeve is going to be rainbows and pride and brave Maeve, lasagna, with the rainbows on it and all this other kind of stuff. But of course, we get Madeline Stillwell back, Elizabeth Shue reprising her role. Again, these, cameo characters coming back. She got killed in season 1. She's back again because, of course, this is back in the past. But for her to say, this is what Vought has been saying for years. We are now living in a post-racism world. Just because you have one black man on a team, racism is over. And they do this so well, and it's written so well, because even we got it throughout these 3 episodes, because they're touching on a lot of things that a lot of young people have brought to the forefront of worldwide attention in the past, I would say 15, 20 years, with, self-harming because Marie has to cut herself in order to use her abilities, and, bulimia and anorexia and eating disorders.
Everybody got a symptom.
Yeah. And so we're dealing with all of this other kind of stuff, and they are just basically going into it in the sense that they're highlighting it, but then they're also spinning it in a way that, even with when we had Starlight's mother, basically trying to exploit her, basically doing a pageant mom type thing.
The parents in the boys universe are horrible. All of them.
Absolutely.
You cannot trust the government, which is basically Vought, because they were trying to get into the government. So you won't be able to do it. They're in it now because Victor V of the presidential run that they're doing.
Yeah.
And you can't trust the parents. It's either one is gonna let you the way they found out what they did to these kids, man. That's horrible.
I don't know if there's a single parent that we've seen that, because like you said, you basically you sold your child out just to try to get them superpowers. And then for the most part, like we saw in Diabolical, for those parents whose children got powers that weren't deemed, friendly or media worthy, They just like either locked him up or kicked him out, or it was like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. And all of these parents are just like, you got Andre's parents, Andre's dad, Polarity. He's just basically trying to live out his fame through his son, so he's constantly pushing him. And Emma's mom is just as bad as Starlight's mom, trying to sell her for a reality show about her eating disorder. And it's just, man,
horrible.
These parents are just awful.
It's horrible parents and horrible. Listen, we love it because it makes for great storytelling, and having those details and having is it the James Gunn effect? Is that what it is? Because James Gunn like to have flawed characters as well. So what I'm saying was that they understand the details and understand that all of that makes it phenomenal. Drag them through the mud. They're your characters. Just take them through everything. Just let us feel, let us sympathize with them, what they're going through. And then when you take them to those lows, those suffering lows, it's like, wow. And then you take them to the highs, you're right there in them highs.
I don't think that, well, like the James Gunn effect, I don't think James Gunn was the first person to like have flawed characters.
I won't say that. I said that, but I questioned it because you can see that he does that in like shows like Peacemaker, even in the Suicide Squad.
Right.
Notice I have to differentiate. Polka Dot Man.
Yeah.
He had his polka dots. It's like, ugh, you know, but it's a condition.
But I mean,
so how can you really be like?
I feel like the Suicide Squad was just built off of flawed characters. That was just kind of, you know, these quote unquote villains that we have, and now they're trying to do something that's actually, you know, pretty noble and help people out. But of course, they're doing it to save their own skin so they don't get killed. But you know,
Isn't that the same thing that Guardians of the Galaxy was?
Well, in less of a sense, because they weren't necessarily villains per se, or they weren't necessarily perceived to be
heroes.
No, they weren't heroes by a long shot, but they weren't necessarily they weren't necessarily perceived to be bad people, right? So like you have Harley Quinn who was running with the Joker and they were doing bad things. You have Peacemaker who doing, you know, just straight up killing people, you know.
Well, he was killing them for peace.
Killing them for peace by any means necessary. You know, stereotypically,
it don't matter how many men
people perceived as bad people, but they're doing good things, you know. But you know, in having these characters going through these first 3 episodes, I had to sort of kind of temper my emotions because part of my brain was like, this is younger people, this is a college campus, and part of my brain was like, oh, it's just gonna be like CW Riverdale, very campy teen type show. And it's like I had to get my brain to stop trying to make that connection, because even though we do get like the little bit of a, you know, drama with, oh, you know, I'm here because, you know, I'm trying to make a name for myself, doing this for my family, this person is trying to be my friend, I don't want to be your friend. We have Jordan's character basically, you know, rejecting Marie's character, and they have the animosity between them, and it's the enemies to friends trope that we see in a lot of, you know, young adult type shows. So even though we do have all of that, it's so much more than that, because we have not only superpowers involved, but we have the insidious things that Vought does in this universe that's underlying everything. And going into it is like, it's like, you know, you get invested into these characters so quick. So when what was Golden Boy's name? I forget his actual
real name or character name?
Well, his character name, not his like superhero name, not Golden Boy. Luke, I think it was.
You know he's on the Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Patrick Schwarzenegger.
Okay.
Yeah, but Luke and
how crazy is that he's the chosen one?
Right. But for him to kill Professor Brink And when Marie walks in on that, and he's like, you know, this isn't what it looks like. He fell asleep with a lit cigarette, and it just happened to burn him. And Marie was like, cool, it'll be our little secret. Part of me was like, Luke, you've been so cool until this point. Just let Marie.
Right.
Marie said it's cool. We're gonna be cool. We just leave it at that.
Right.
But it's like he couldn't get it, and then he just went off the deep end. But
Because he didn't trust her.
right, and it's hard because the more we find out, it's like we understand that he doesn't know who to trust because he's been getting lied to this entire time.
So Generation V.
Yeah.
I love how Vought owns everything. Vought phone, Vought
A V-pad, V-pod, V-pods,
V-Pods.
V-phone.
Come on. If that's not a stab at Apple, I don't know what is.
Everything about these shows, The Boys and Gen V, is a stab at everything and everybody. It's
the whole
like
superhero genre.
It's like there's you can do a parody of something, like maybe parody a genre, or they'll parody a certain thing. This whole universe literally parodies everything. Like, it is a parody of life, is what it is.
Is that the secret sauce? Because it's the best parody ever done by far.
I think because it's the best parody, I think that's the secret sauce. Because you can make fun of things and have it still not be good. Like, it may not necessarily be a smart parody, but kind of like what I was saying before, like, we have all of these like young adult issues that we're touching on, and how they're making fun of it without making fun of it. Like, they're being woke but being anti-woke at the same time. Like, I don't know how the writers came up with just this formula, and I'm talking about the writers of The Boys and now Gen V, but this formula of being able to shine light on an issue and make it satirical, but not make fun of it, but not make fun of it, if that makes sense. Like, the conversation that Marie and Emma were having about Marie finding out that Emma has to throw up in order for her to shrink. And her kind of saying, well...
Which makes more sense than the Pym particles, by the way.
It does. It really does. But for their conversation to kind of go in a direction of Maria's like, well, this is a serious issue. Did you, seek help for it? Or maybe you should look for help. And Emma saying, it's not a disorder. It's how I activate my powers. She's like, it's just the same thing as you cutting yourself. Did you ever think to seek help? Or, do you need to talk to someone about it? And Marie instantly comes back, well, I don't need help. This is just how I activate my powers. And Emma's like, thank you. Like, you just made my point. It's not like, in a sense of Emma doesn't necessarily have body image issues that she's throwing up to make herself look skinny or pretty or anything like that. It's just, the way that her powers happen to manifest themselves. And that goes back into like Diabolical. Like, these people have powers, and they're not always flashy like A-Train or Homelander, where you can fly and shoot laser beams and be invulnerable and stuff like that. Some of these powers, if they want to use them, they have to do things that they really are uncomfortable. Like Emma was saying, it's gross, and she's ashamed of it, at some points. And
she said she hated it. She said she hated it.
If she would prefer not to do it, but again, it's still part of her powers, and she knows that if she wants to use her powers, that's something that she has to do. But then at the same time, like I said, they're not making fun of it, but then they're showing how the dude was like using her because he had a small dick complex where he wants to, feel big, and how better to feel big than to have somebody who's an inch high,
Makes sense.
And it's just
a lot of you guys have that Tinkerbell fantasy. Y'all know what it is.
It's just really, really smart writing, and I think that they've been doing a great job in just few episodes, and I'm excited to see where they're going with the next. 5.
Well, we do this here. We talk about the good, but we also talk about the bad.
Mm-hmm.
So let's highlight some of these moments in Gen V that could have used more sense, a little more narration, a little more something. Which is, I guess, how I don't want to say it's necessarily a bad. Maybe it's a part of a slow build up. Just trying to get to understanding everyone's motivations in between the suspense drops of, oh, his dad knew about the forest, and oh, the forest, and oh, what's going on, and just the transitions on how we're getting there, because it feels like, okay, what was the chosen one's golden boy's girlfriend's name? I forget her name, her character name, the one that
Kate,
can
I believe.
manipulate your thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
Kate.
Kate had that dream, right, about the chosen one, the golden boy, and his brother, which instantly reminds me of Cyclops and his brother Havoc, being tortured or whatever, separated, so have you, in the X-Men. Um, but I really feel like we got to come to an understanding of how they got separated and how they got to a point that you're the chosen one and your brother is in a experimental asylum almost, now being heavily drugged to a point that he's not even trying to escape. And I understand that he didn't know, but where did he think he was? He thought he was dead? Where did he thought his brother was?
Yeah, they told him that his brother was dead.
That was happening. Okay.
Yeah. So we get the scene where I can't remember if it was in episode 2 or episode 3. I think it was in episode 3 where Luke was kind of sitting on the floor. His room's like all a mess, and Kate's hugging him. And he's like, because they told him that his brother committed suicide. And so he's like,
I missed that. I
this
missed that.
can't be real because Sam wouldn't do something like that. He wouldn't kill himself. And he's so overstricken with grief. He tells Kate, he's like, make me feel better. Tell me to feel better.
Yes, that did happen.
Yeah,
and she
he's like,
refused to do it.
yeah, because she's like, this is kind of just something that you have to go through.
Yeah, that is what happened. I apologize. That's interesting that she wouldn't do that for him, though. At the same time, you've seen her use her powers for less important things, but you don't want to undercut that moment.
Right.
It is something that he would have to process. But you've done other things that's kind of really, he's really hurting in that moment.
Yeah.
You could have given him a little bit of relief. Maybe not take all of it away.
I mean, so I don't know, like, how she would word that to, like, take some of it off, but not all of it. But I think
Rest,
that,
sleep, breathe.
Maybe, I don't know. But, still her, it's not
Maybe
like...
if she would have did it with the gloves on,
then it wouldn't have made a difference. Because her powers don't
you
work.
you would have known it was genuine versus manipulative, I guess. But she did kind of, in her own way, say this is something you have to go through. It
Yeah,
just would have felt like it would have been better if she was more.
like she could have worded it differently. Like him saying, "Tell me to feel better because I don't want to feel this way anymore." And for her to say, like, if she would, like you said, touch his face with the gloves on and tell him it will get better, just kind of reassuring him.
Have that real moment.
Yeah. Now, like, I appreciate that, she was still there with him by his side and they, like, showed her embrace him and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess just the wording at that moment might have just been a little bit better.
That's all I got. That's it. That's all I got.
I do, like I said, kind of one of the things that, and again, just me and equating this show with the whole young adult and TV tropes and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Going into it, I assumed that, Golden Boy was going to be the popular jock figured he was going to be an asshole when Marie went out with them. You know, they were up on top of Vault Tower. I thought he was going to be like a dick, you know, and they were trying to get her to do drugs and all this other kind of stuff, and they were peer pressuring her into all of this stuff. And I really thought, I was assuming that he was going to be an asshole to her, and he wasn't. You know, I feel like a good thing about the show is that they're subverting at least my expectations as when it comes to a young adult type show. You know, even though
Yeah,
this
we know
isn't necessarily,
we know your expectations be high.
and it's not even about my expectations being high. I'm not talking about the quality of things. I'm talking about just the tropes that these types of shows normally follow. Because you have the popular jock who has the, you know, cheerleader-esque looking girlfriend, and they're normally assholes to the new freshmen that
They're
come
mean
in.
girls.
Yeah, it's a whole, you know, bullying stereotype thing that they kind of follow. And for them to not only for Luke to not be an asshole, but Kate's not necessarily an asshole either. She's not falling under that mean girls thing. You know, she's a little short with Marie, you know, afterwards because of the interview that Marie did, and was like, yeah, because you were there by yourself trying to stop the murderous monster and everything like that. And she's telling Marie, like, you didn't know him. You didn't know how funny he was, or how kind he was, or how nice he was to everybody. You know, so, and rightfully so, she had, you know, every reason to be upset
like
with her
one
at that
interaction,
point. Right. But then in the same hand, you know, when Jordan came out and confronted Marie about, you know, basically Jordan was saying, you know, that you weren't the one that fought Luke. I was the one that fought Luke. You ran. But here you're taking all the credit. And Marie was like, I don't know any of you. I met you all one time, went out with you, and I was about to get expelled because Brink wanted me to cover for you guys.
So true.
And
so horrible.
It's
but
like,
it's still so true.
It's so, there's so many levels of people doing the right thing and not getting recognized for doing the right thing. And, you know, like,
you're witnessing how supervillains are made.
True. Because Marie is in the school of her dreams. She wants to be in a crime fighting track. Jordan rejects her, basically saying, you know, you have no popularity, you have no following, you're not the Seven material, you're not marketable, right? So
she slings blood.
Yeah, it's because
just from a safety standpoint,
even Polarity said there's going to be a PR nightmare at some point, because what if she has Hep C, you know, and you're just throwing your blood at people. But through all of that, as much as she's fought, and we don't even know exactly what Marie had to do to get accepted into God U, because she told the counselor at Red River Institute that she got a full scholarship. So I mean, was it just based on grades? Was it because you had what they thought at that time was a marketable superpower? So we don't know
what they ever thought that was marketable, because even Brink said that it's not gonna go over well.
But I mean, it was even they had something, you know, maybe they thought it was marketable as from a TV show standpoint. That's why they put her in the acting classes.
Maybe she could sell. You thought it. AIDS? That'll work too. But Band-Aids for your down unders.
but just going back to people doing the right thing and then getting punished for it, because she wants to be a hero. Not only can she, you know, use blood as a weapon, she was able to, while they were in the club, put the woman's blood back into her body and seal her wound so she wouldn't bleed out.
That's crazy,
and she was going viral on social media, but because she wasn't part of the top 10, then, hey, look, these guys have a real shot at being part of the 7. They have a real shot at being like national celebrities in the soup community. Nobody knows who you are. So
you're going to have to take a fall. Some of them already got cases. Oh, you was talking about Jordan. You're talking about Brink. Okay,
yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, I'm talking about Brink. But he's basically saying, like, you have to understand, because he tells her the whole story about, you know, the guy jumping in the ocean to go save his dog, and he's up drowning. And part of being a hero is knowing when to take the fall for your fellow man and everything like that, trying to impart this lesson on her and getting her expelled. And and it's just that's the way
Never meet your heroes, man.
that but that's the way that the boys universe is. It's like you have these superpower people, and it's the same thing that Starlight kind of realizes. Like, you want to be a hero, you want to save people, but Starlight was about to lose her job because she was on the street and trying to save somebody from
Dude,
getting attacked.
she was sexually assaulted like day one.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's
by
like
one of the lowest guys.
I like how when they were talking about the graduates of God U and how May was ranked number 1, went to the 7. A Train ranked number 1, went to the 7. It was like the Deep was ranked number 6. I was like, this dude never catches a break. He's just
gives the number 6 some hope. That's what he's doing. He's giving people that's in the
like
lowest scores
as long as you top 10, you got a chance.
You can do it. Maybe that's the PR reason they did it. Like,
just
let's give them a bone.
But the doing the right thing isn't always appreciated. It's if it's not what's good for Vought and Vought subsidiaries, then you're not going to make a difference.
Would you even want to be in this universe? It is not the best universe to be.
It's this woman was literally just sitting at the bar, minding her business. She wasn't even a woman that Andre was talking to. She was literally just sitting there minding her business. Next thing you know, she gets her throat slit because he's trying to show off with a little hummingbird.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Who's gonna avenge them? Her.
Nobody. She's just a random person that died.
And Vaught's gonna just cover it up because, again,
they were gonna make Marie take the fall for it and just like, look, this superpower person killed this woman. And they're gonna lock her up somewhere.
Look what they did with Luke, though. They said he was on drugs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he wasn't on drugs that day, but he was a drug user. But yeah, but the way they just vilified him after him being number 1, and they were basically
I don't even think Luke took that Molly. Did he take the Molly?
He didn't take the Molly, but he said he did have shrooms. They didn't show him taking them.
Oh yeah, shrooms.
He didn't show him taking them, but he was smoking before, so at least that night he was on something.
Okay.
But no, just the way that they completely went, he was number 1 at the top of the ranks, about to be the next person in the 7 to take either Maeve's spot or Starlight's spot, and then immediately he was a habitual drug user. This was a isolated event from a troubled child and all this other kind of stuff, and the court is going after his parents and everything like that. And
horrible.
It's just that's what they do because they own everything and they can easily just spin any story however they want to.
Destroying lives.
One
baby at a time. That should be Vought's logo. Destroying lives, one baby at a time.
But I thought he was gonna be an asshole. I thought Kate was gonna be an asshole. I mean, Jordan was kind of an asshole, but they ended up coming around, and because I was watching it, I'm like, I know at some point, because we saw the trailer and we saw them all kind of working together and everything. So I was like, everybody's like so separated right now. Andre wants to figure out who Luke's killer is. Kate is like, hey, we need to just kind of hold off. We need to figure it out. We need to think about this first. Jordan is dealing with their parents. Emma's dealing with her mom. Marie's dealing with, the dean trying to prop her up as the new face of the university. Everybody's like all of these separate places.
She's going to be after these votes.
Well, yeah. But then also, we saw in the last episode that Marie finally realizes that she's just using me because they're standing at the table and Dean, what's her name? Shetty. She's like, oh, thank you so much for saving me. And Marie was like, well, I wasn't aware that you needed saving. And she was like, yeah, we needed more funding. And basically she's telling her, you came in at the best time for me to be able to, prop you up. Exactly. And so she's like, Marie basically said, well, I'm glad I could be useful. And Shetty was like, oh, you're so useful, so useful. And it's like, Shetty didn't even pick up on it. It was like, I'm just a tool that you're using right now. And I think because Marie realizes that, and that's why, you know, she was kind of storming out and ended up sitting down with Jordan and Kate. But yeah, so I was wondering, I'm like, how exactly are they all going to get together and start working as a team? Because, you know, we saw like I was saying at the beginning, it's kind of all over the place and all separated. But, you know, Emma and Marie had that, that shared moment in the bathroom where Marie apologized to Emma and basically was like, I know I said I wanted everybody to just leave me alone and let me just worry about doing my own thing and being a hero.
Right.
And they all come back together and she's like, you know, I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean that. And I just, you know, at this point, I need a friend. I need somebody because, you know, obviously Marie is concerned. Yeah, embrace on the toilet. It's just weird.
Here's the thing that you said. You answered your own question because I honestly believe that it is in that common ground of service, of everyone's using somebody. In fact, cricket is it cricket?
Little cricket.
Little cricket. Mom said that everyone is using
everybody uses somebody,
and I think what we're seeing is our heroes or our flawed heroes all are being used.
Yeah,
you know, and so that's their common ground. They'll come together because none of them want to get used, and then they're gonna have to save Luke's brother.
Yeah,
and everybody else is down there. Will that happen this season?
What, they're gonna get Luke's Sam out?
Will that happen this season?
Yeah, absolutely. We already seen episodes.
Will they get all the kids out?
No, I don't think their priority is to get all the kids out. I think their priority is just get Sam out right now. Well, I think that's Andre's priority. Where they're going to go after that, I think they're going to work on trying to expose the school for what the Woods is. Because, you know, Ashley was telling Shetty on the phone, was the Woods a part of this? Talking about, you know, Luke exploding above the school and everything. And she said, you know, basically if word gets out that Vought has a secret lab underneath the school, it's going to destroy everything that we work for. So then I think that
these secrets have a way of getting out in the boys' universe.
I mean, we look at what will happen with Compound V. And
Compound V, what about the video Homelander?
Well, I mean, the video Homelander came out and it just didn't even, it came out at such a point to where it wasn't even an issue for Homelander anymore.
I didn't say that it will or won't be an issue. They come out. It comes out. Yeah, nothing stays hidden. Out. So how will the world respond when they find out what Vought has done? Do we want to see a boys in a post-apocalyptic world?
Do you think it's going to cause a cataclysmic world in an event?
I think if they take Vought down, it will.
I just feel like another corporation would end up replacing it. Because you know that there may not be companies now that could rival Vought, but you know that there are companies that would jump at the opportunity to replace them.
I don't know, because what you just said describes Amazon and describes Marvel.
How so?
I think Amazon can take down Marvel
with one show or one universe.
It's the way that they're doing their universe.
No, because you can't market this to everybody.
Oh yeah, it's way too gory. But for the comic fans, who love to see those panels and see the comic, this ain't no Sailor Moon. This is not Dragon Ball Z. This is, he punched a guy in his chest
and pulled his fist
through his mouth. Came out his mouth.
Yeah. Emma literally lobotomized the man by going through one ear and out the other.
When they say going in one ear and out the other, you now have a visual interpretation of what that looks like.
And I found out because I was watching New Rockstar's breakdown of the first 3 episodes. That
Uh-huh.
scene where Emma is the guy's laying down, he's on his side, and Emma is standing in his ear, and his ear is filled with blood. That was a practically built ear. They built a 15-foot tall ear, and I think he
Wow.
said built it with like 50,000 gallons of fake blood to where
Wow.
she could like swim in it and come out of it and be covered in it.
Wow.
So
And
it's
it's
that level of dedication.
what's the cost on that? Because it's only on screen for probably about that long.
Who knows? I have no clue.
And it's worth it
It's
because
worth
that
it
moment is etched in our mind.
because it's like, how do you not do that practically? Like you can maybe put her in a pool and have her come up, but
That's
then
what I
at
was gonna
some
say.
point, the ear surrounding it doesn't necessarily look.
Look like an ear.
Well, I'm just saying it doesn't maybe blend well with the liquid that she's right. But you take the ear, you build the ear out, and then you CG the face around the ear. Then at least if you're focusing on the ear portion, then maybe if the whole head doesn't necessarily blend well, that's not what you're focusing on.
I don't think you could have did it any other way that they did that. The way that they did it,
I agree, and I appreciate them.
not the way
I
that I said
appreciate
it.
them using that practicality.
It looks nice because I can't imagine it being besides being CG'd horribly. And let's just go ahead and acknowledge that the CG is not lacking on here.
No, absolutely not.
Listen, can we say what it is? Is Gen V super?
I mean, I can't say if the show as a whole is super. These 3 episodes have been super, yes. The show as a
Oh,
whole, we
oh,
always run into the issue of these series maybe
this
not
is
sticking the
so
landing.
true. This is
So
so
I,
true.
I
And how many episodes it is? 8?
episodes.
That's more than 6.
It's
That's
more than
more than
six.
6.
More than 6.
If you count it up, that is more than 6.
Yeah.
So there's an opportunity. Why are we not doing like full seasons, like 10, 12 episodes? Why are we do what is
I mean, technically a full season
Oh,
would
they
be
not paying their writers?
22
Is that what's
episodes.
going on?
I don't
You
know.
know what? That's not a bad idea to do 22 episodes. 22, 23. Yeah, what happened to those series? Who okayed this? You know what? I take back what I said about taking down the MCU.
Well, that's what I was
The
saying.
MCU will beat you over the head with content.
Well, the MCU shows still have 6 to 8 episodes per series.
Yeah, but they got
on
another
Disney
one
Plus.
coming out like next 3-4 weeks. They got another show coming out.
But and we talked about that. Is that really helping them? Is that harming them? Because you oversaturate the market, nobody wants to watch anything no more.
This is true, but when the quality of writing is at this level, you feel like you don't get enough show.
But then I also think that because it was the same thing with Invincible, that you have a show that's expertly written, wonderfully shot, brilliantly animated.
This all of what you're saying is true.
And then you give us,
and it has world building,
and it has building, and it has great stakes, great plot, great story, great places to go. But you give us 8 episodes, and then you make us wait, just like television used to be. You used to get a full season, and then it ends the season on a cliffhanger, and we have to wait for
Netflix. Okay, Netflix just interrupted the game when they gave you binge watch.
Yeah, but then Netflix also went back on that and started releasing episodes weekly.
Yeah, because they're smart. So it's not sustainable to be able to drop whole seasons. Like nobody is able to record that much content that fast.
So what do you think? Do you think these episodes of Gen V have been super?
Listen, when they drop these episodes, again, I think somebody's watching our show because I've always said you can't judge a show on the first episode. You can't really on the second episode. It's not until the third episode that you get a whole heartbeat of what the show is, what the show's supposed to be, where they're going with the show. Dropping a sneak peek, you need to drop 3 episodes of any show two at the minimum. But if you really want to capture that audience, drop three. Now, is it any better if you drop three and you have like 12? I'm telling you right now, with great writing, they're tuned in. You got them locked in. They'll sit there for all 12. But if you got 9, like you have now, I guess we'll stay here for it and have to soak and pout and wait until the next season come out. But here's what I wanted to tell you, Spider, because I remember what I forgot early when we started the show. I remembered. Actually, I remember quite some time, but I wanted to save it for this special moment. Do you think that they're doing these inclusive, because you say you would like to see more heroes or flawed heroes or villains, which in a sense they're kind of doing with this show. They're showing you other heroes or other kids that's not in the 7 but aspire to be. But do you think they're doing that purposefully to get you excited for your next installment of The Boys? If you think about it, it's synergy, because we don't want you to focus on. Remember how we said the MCU was expanding too far, too fast? Nobody cared about Moon Knight. No one really cared. This was unfair to say because Oscar Isaac really brought something to that role. But
it's hard to, because like the question that you posed, if we got the show Moon Knight and then we go into Secret Wars and Moon Knight dies, will we care?
Right.
And it's because we have so many characters now. We haven't been able to make that connection with those other newer introduced Marvel characters.
Right. So what I'm saying is, in the Boys universe, they're not doing that. They're going the opposite of that. They're not expanding rapidly like they were with Miss Marvel and Moon Knight and Echo and all these other characters, that Agatha and all these other characters that kind of came in phase 4. They're saying it's still the Boys. I'm thinking that's only going to make you that much more excited when the Boys drop, because we've touched on things that's happening in the Boys universe in this show, like Homelander's trial. Like he's got to go to court for killing that guy at the protest.
Right.
But is he in, like you said, I think you said it, is he in a place where he can, well, let's be realistic. We all seen Man of Steel, when Henry Cavill just broke his handcuffs. You can't really hold Homelander.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure at some point in time he turns himself in and participates, or somebody convinces him.
Well, I mean,
to turn himself in.
It's good optics for you to go along with the legal proceedings, but like you said, at the end of the day, they're not going to convict him or anything, because even it said at the bottom, lawyer said, Homelander he stood his ground, and again, parroting the very real cases,
stand your ground
laws. And so I feel
they
like
did throw a weapon at what's his kid's name?
Ryan, I think.
Ryan. Yeah, they hit him in the chest with a soda. And that was a big gulp.
Yeah.
So, I would have lost my cool too. I don't know if I would have lasered-eyed somebody to death, but, it would have got a good stern fist, which would have probably killed him anyway.
I'm sure that's going to be, the basis of the trial. So if anything, I think that he would have to go to like anger management. I think that's going to be like Homelander's punishment.
I think you called it. I think that'll be interesting.
But
this is Homelander in rehab or anger management
therapy. He clearly needs therapy.
That would be interesting to see.
But at this point, I'm more excited about the next episodes of Gen V. Like, I appreciate like the little cameos showing Stillwell, showing, A-Train getting drafted, showing the director of Dawn of the Seven. He's, and they made a joke about him because he exposed himself to a celebrity. Now he's stuck in director's hell, so he's teaching a college course.
That's funny.
you know, and having all these little asides, you know, showing Ashley showing up, and we're supposed to get Victoria Newman showing up at some point too.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I appreciate all of the interconnectivity to the boys universe, but at this point, I can't say that it's making me, you know, it's making me look forward to the next season more than I already have been. So
Mm.
at this point, I can't say that it's any more than I was already looking forward to the next season, but I am more excited because like I was already excited about Gen V and just being able to, you know, get a new show in the boys
Yeah,
universe. But after
yeah.
seeing these first 3 episodes, it's like you said, getting those 3 episodes, I'm locked in. This is one of those shows, and we talked about this with Secret Invasion. How that was literally the first MCU show where I was like, I guess I gotta watch the next one so, you know, I can know what's going on. But this one is like, okay, I'm ready for the next one. If they want to drop another 3, I'll watch another 3. You know,
Exactly.
I am excited for this show. I'm really intrigued by it. And it has that boys flavor. Like we said, this is probably one of the bloodiest shows, like per episode in just these first 3 episodes that we may have seen in The Boys. And The Boys has a
And it
knack of covering their characters in blood. Like I think Marie has gotten covered in blood in almost every single episode, or at least one person has been covered in blood in every single episode.
and then they don't do a great job cleaning because they had the Golden Boy still in the cracks.
Yeah,
This that's I don't know what hazmat team that was. They were horrible. They were never supposed to push blood and guts in a drain. I was watching. I
I
was like,
know.
who okayed this? We dropped the details on this one.
It's back into the sewer system and
That's not how that goes.
filter it through and going back in the water
Unless we
supply.
we're about to release some Teenage Mutant Ninja Gen V stuff. We know what its origin
We know where
story
it started.
from.
But
Some
yeah,
rats
it's
eating
like
on some golden.
they have, like you said, they kind of miss some attention to details on some things, but then they pay like real close attention to details on other things. Like with Marie cutting her hands in order to retrieve the blood, they don't really stay on it long, but she does have like scar tissue
He does
on
have
her
scars.
hand. And another thing that I noticed when I was just looking at all of the actors who played the different characters. So for people who haven't watched Gen V, so the character of Jordan is played by 2 actors, a male actor and a female actor, and they can, you know, transition at will. And so the male actor has a mole on his chin, but the female actress doesn't. And so
Mhm.
that's one of the like the attention to detail that they made. So when Jordan is presenting as female, they have the mole on their chin to match with the when they're presenting as a male. And it's like if you didn't know that not going into it, you just be like, oh, okay, they found, you know, 2 actors that kind of had the same characteristic features, but they actually have to like put that on their chin.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think a lot of people, myself included, caught that. You might have singled out an Easter egg. What I caught was the chain, how it's half pearls and then
Yeah, and
half
half like
heavy.
silver, like chain link or like sterling silver, whatever is design it's
Yeah,
called.
I thought that was interesting. I mean, everybody see the dragon. I mean, the I forgot the name of the Asian wolf
Yeah, the
that's
lion and thing like a phoenix or something on the jacket.
and then the merry melody in the back. But
Hmm.
at the same time, I thought it was so interesting about the chain because it's like pearls don't link like that. But I guess that was crafted for the duel. And this is not an identity thing.
No,
This is a gender thing.
right. And they also
This
have
is
different
not
powers too, if you notice that.
right. I think he's invulnerable and she shoots energy blasts.
She has like energy blast and kind of like force shielding or something like that.
Yeah, because Brink shot Jordan.
He
It was
shot
Jordan,
Jordan
right? And
when they were female presenting, and in a split second, they would be able to change to male presenting, and it's like
just to show you how fast he
reflexes,
is.
just
Right.
insanely fast.
So if Golden Boy actually fought, not Jordan, Maria,
Marie,
Marie,
mm-hmm.
would Marie have survived?
I don't think so.
Does
I don't.
Jordan have blood inside of him?
I would imagine that he. Well, I mean, clearly he did because when he exploded, he dripped
This
blood
is
on
true.
everybody.
Because this is the thing, she has blood manipulation. Can she just suck the life out, the blood out of? There's orifices that open and close. She can just pull it,
Right.
and they can come out of your skin.
Mm-hmm.
Stronger if she's strong enough. Clearly, she can make it go back in and close it.
Right. I think that might be something that we see her explore later in the season, like manipulating blood while it's in someone. Because I think because we saw that she's still like practicing with
Learning her
what she could
powers.
do.
Right.
And I think that she'll find out that, you know, because everybody has blood inside of them, she can control the blood without having to extract it first. But I think in order for her to use it as a weapon, then of course it has to be, you know, blood that's leaked out.
What we have learned, she can wield just blood. They don't even have to be.
It doesn't have to be her
blood.
blood, just any blood.
Right. So she may stop cutting herself and only save that for an emergency. Because, of course, when she discovered that, listen, we're giving probably like 99.9% of the show away, and there's still so much to go and see.
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest anybody who hasn't saw it, go see it. Gen Z. I just want to put that out there right there. So if she could manipulate other people's blood, it's like you can't even fight her because it's like what you want to do, and then she sucks the blood right out of you and leave you dehydrated and incapacitated.
I mean, dead at that point if she's sucking all the blood out of you.
If she sucked more than a pint out, you pretty much shutting down.
Yeah.
You even seen that she got winded when she was practicing, when she ended up sitting on the floor.
Right.
I mean, that's a lot of blood that she brought out, and she doesn't retract it and put it back in herself. That's what I actually thought she was going to do.
Well, at least we didn't see her retract it. Maybe she did, like, before the next scene. I don't know.
She may be one of the most dangerous, what do we call, we can't call them mutants. What are we calling them?
Supers.
So yeah, she may be one of the dangerous soups in this universe.
Potentially.
But they're trying to make her a villain. Look what they're doing to her.
I mean, that could be said about any of the students at God U.
Well,
I mean, because look at Kate. Kate was, you know, I mean, Kate kind of has been, you know, pushing people to just kind of get what she want, but now she's doing it like the guy in the MAGA hat, but they say "Make America Safe," you know, in the red cap. You know, he was just making a joke about her, making a joke about Luke, saying, you know, the things that people would do to get away from her. And, you know, with her not liking that, she's like, oh, go find a bat and go into the courtyard, and then every hour on the hour, hit yourself in the nuts and yell Jumanji. But I like the fact that they went back to it while I was walking. You just see him in the background, Jumanji.
They got a lot cleared on this episode. I mean, this series, and that's so crazy that's there though, because she didn't give him a cutoff date or nothing. Like, when is that gonna stop? That's horrible.
I mean, and it was like in X-Men Origins Wolverine when I think her name was Silver Fox. She told Stryker, she was like, I want you to walk until your feet bleed and then keep walking.
Is that never supposed to end as well?
I mean, it didn't end until they snapped him out of it.
Hey, man, I don't want to go to this universe, and you can't make me. You can't make me, Spider. I'm not going.
You don't know who's a super and who's not a super, and then you don't know what powers they have. So it could be anybody.
Yeah, you could be enjoying a drink and then get your neck slit with a little baby dove. Right. So I'll stay on this side of the universe. Keep that. But as far as entertainment, everybody should go and see Gen V.
Absolutely.
I'll just go ahead and give y'all that tidbit.
But let us know if you watched the first 3 episodes of Gen V. What did you think about it? What are you hoping to see throughout the rest of this season? And are you excited for season 4 of The Boys when it comes out? But let us know. And remember, if you like the video, go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you can be notified when we have new episodes that come out. If you want the audio version of the podcast, just search for All Things Super on your favorite podcast streaming platform. And if you want to follow us on social media, just click the link in the description below.
There it is.
There
And leave
it
a
is.
comment. We'll read it.
We
Well, you
absolutely
know
will.
what? We might not read it. I'm joking. We go read
Absolutely will.
it. uh, shouldn't be.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of these episodes because I know it's gonna be wild, and I'm interested to see because I know we saw in the trailer with the puppets, and I think that's part of Sam's like his psyche of what's going on with him mentally as he's seeing people as puppets, because that whole conversation that he had with Emma is like, if he was like, you can't be real, but if you're not real, why would I imagine you? And he's testing her like, what was my favorite toy growing up, and she's just like, dude, I don't fucking know. I have no idea. He's like, well, what's my favorite movie? Well, you're a white guy, so either Star Wars or Shawshank.
Yeah, but I'm getting Legion out of that. I'm
Yeah,
feeling like it's a parody of Legion.
and that's what, and it's like, because the show Gen V is drawing inspiration from the comics, but I like the fact that it's not like we're always talking about. It's not a one for one, right? So it's not following a specific storyline. So we have that unknown about what's going to happen next, because we can say, oh well, this is drawing inspiration from this character. This is drawing inspiration from this series or anything. Well, we see this show is pulling inspiration from just about the entire universe. Is pulling inspiration from all of these different comic book universes, cinematic universes, pulling it from different superheroes, different characters. There was a girl, just an extra, walking through the hallway who had on a green shirt and she had a white streak in her hair. It's just like, that's a not that it's necessarily a rogue type appearse, but I mean, it's there are
Is
clearly some
that you,
similarities.
chap? You, mo friend?
And so it's just stuff like that they're pulling from all of, like we said, it's such an expert parody because it's making fun but also honoring in the same way, and it's doing both at the same time expertly, and it's like
Competition is
it's
going up
genius.
between Gen V and like the Spider Verse, across the Spider Verse. Like the competition's getting stiff.
Well, I wouldn't say that is competition. I think that is,
Bring back the competition. Yes.
I think that is just different strands of the same, different strings on the same guitar. I'll put it that way.
That don't sound like the Spider Verse.
Well, it's
Sound
not the
like the
Spider Verse.
guitar
What
verse.
I'm saying is that you have two separate entities in Spider Verse, in the MCU, in the Boys, and Gen V, and and to a certain
Of
extent the
course,
DCU as well. And
of course.
it's all superhero genres, and they don't necessarily have to cross, but you put them all together for a superhero genre. You have all of these
Yeah,
great
yeah.
properties. So it doesn't necessarily have to be competition. We can clearly say that, one is better than the other, or one show, whether it's even in, not even comparing universe, we can say that one MCU show is better than another one MCU better than another one. We could say I like Gen V more than I like Secret Invasion. It's but I don't
Everything that you're saying is true, but how many boys shows are bad?
I mean, they only have 3. And I don't think they're gonna come out with another series of Diabolical.
You
Or
don't
another
think
season
so?
of Diabolical. I mean, they absolutely could, because with it being an anthological series, you can
Mm-hmm.
tell any story with that, and it has,
Mm-hmm.
there's no permanent repercussions to the universe as a whole. Like if you were to do something in Gen V, like say something happened to a Victoria Newman. Something happens to her in one episode of Gen V. That's going to have ramifications when The Boys season 4 comes back, because
I
Gen V.
think they developed their characters enough that they could spin off any of these characters and keep it in that same universe and have it interweaving, connected,
They
and
can
have a
definitely
hit show.
connect it, but I don't think it would still be that great of a show. Because like if The Deep had a spin-off show, I don't think it would be a great show.
Or look who it is.
But that's what I'm saying. You saying any of the characters, they can have a spinoff.
I think they could though.
They could
But
have a show, but I don't think it would be a great show.
I disagree. I think they proved that by having the Deep already spent off and doing his own thing. Like we followed that storyline. We've seen him drink a Fresca. I mean, come on.
That was
the whole church.
I honestly felt like that was that was the weakest storyline of the season. That was the weakest storyline part of that season.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah, I feel like the stuff that the Deep was going through with him, getting relegated to Nebraska, him having his mental breakdown. It was like we check in on him, see what he's doing. Oh, he's shaving his head. He's having sex with a woman and she gets freaked out by it, or she grabs him by his gills, and then we leave him for like another episode and a half. Then we come back, he's doing something else that's ridiculous. And then we leave him again. It was like I understand he was cast aside by the Seven, but it also seemed like he was cast aside by the show. And the things that he was going through wasn't necessarily interesting, and it wasn't even involved with everything else that was going on with that season.
Horrible. It's horrible you would say that about the Deep.
Let him go fuck another octopus.
Oh, first of all, sir, that is not accurate. That was a mollusk. That was a mollusk, not an octopus.
Aren't they the same thing?
By my standards, yeah, but apparently to the Deep, there's put some respect on their name. I don't know. I don't have intercourse with sea creatures or the other creatures besides the human beings. Other female persuasion.
But we're going to keep watching Gen V, and we'll come back and we'll do a full review of the season, and we'll see if the season actually or not. But join us then. But for this episode, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate all the love and support. We will see you all in the next one. But remember, until then, keep being super.